name is Susanna Porras, and I am the district liaison for the City of Pasadena City Council District 3, and I am your MC this morning. Welcome to the much anticipated grand opening of the Playhouse Village Park. Now, before we get started today, I would like to acknowledge some of our distinguished guests in the audience who are not on our program. I'm going to ask that you please hold your applause until all of the names have been read. And to our special guests, when called, I'm going to ask that you please stand and give the audience a wave. Okay. So first and foremost, former City of Pasadena Mayor Terry Tornick, who began working with the Playhouse Village Association years ago as one of their council members to develop this very park. I am sure he's absolutely delighted to see this park come to fruition. And he is also here with his lovely wife, Maria. Former City of Pasadena Mayor Bill Bogart and his wife, Claire Bogart. Miss Anne Marie Hickenbottom, field representative for Assembly Member Chris Holden. From the Pasadena City Council, Council Member Felicia Williams, representing District 2. Council Member Jessica Rivas, representing District 5. From the City of Pasadena District Lee's office, my distinguished colleagues, Ms. Vania de la Cuba, Office of the Mayor, Ms. Cushan Bell, District 1, Ms. Darla Dyson, District 2, Ms. Margot Morales, District 5, Ms. Taka Suzuki, District 6, and the absolutely amazing Ms. Pam Thyreth, who helped put all of this together, District 7. And also a couple of very important people here, Fire Chief Chad Augustine, and Police Chief Jason Clausen. Thank you. The Century Dictionary definition of a park is a piece of ground, usually of considerable extent, laid out in such a way as to offer pleasure to the eye, as well as opportunity for open-air recreation. The City of Pasadena, as of today, boasts 26 shareable outdoor green spaces, some uniquely equipped with outdoor gyms, frisbee golf, and yes, folks, even horseshoe pits. Having grown up here in the City of Pasadena, I had the distinct opportunity to visit all of the parks at one point or another. I took guitar lessons at Victory Park, tennis and swim lessons at Brookside, and as a teenager, I even had a frisbee golf date at Cajamarca Watershed Park. That didn't go too well. However, my favorite park as a kid was a park that didn't have any of the fancy equipment, but it was special to me, and I found it to be particularly beautiful. During the hot summer months, the grandmother next door would gather up all of the neighborhood kids and trek us a little over half mile to the local park. The park was described by the Pasadena Star News in 1948 as a miniature arboretum, lacking only the labels on the trees. Included were the ginkgo, or the maiden hair fern tree from China, the rare Albizia julibrisson from Persia, Irish yews, the podocarpus, an exceptionally fine example of the European fan palm, and the Canary Island date palm. Additionally, the park boasted over 36 varieties of roses. Located on the southwest corner of St. John Avenue and California Boulevard is Singer Park, the former estate of Mrs. Emma R. Singer, widow of H.M. Singer of Chicago, Illinois. Mrs. Singer's bequest to the City of Pasadena was accepted by the Board of Directors in 1924. Our first guest speaker's favorite park is located in East Pasadena, and it is the city's largest and most used park. The Pasadena War Memorial Committee dedicated a living memorial at the park on May 25th, 1952, in memory of all those who fell during the Second World War. The V-shaped rose garden can be viewed on the corner of Paloma Street and Altadena Drive. The boulder on top of the V is the Joe Hayashi Memorial, a Medal of Honor winner and running mate of the Robinson brothers. Hayashi died in World War II. And yes, folks, if you haven't guessed it already, the V is for victory. Fantastic. Okay, please welcome Pastor Terry Turrentine of Pasadena's Deliverance Tabernacle Church, who will be delivering today's invocation.
Good morning. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this day, for this is the day that you have made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, we rejoice as a dream has become reality. We are glad as our community has come together, Lord, to unite, to celebrate this great work. Lord, we pray right now that you give a special blessing to all those who participated in the hard work of building this park. I pray, Lord, that the leadership of this city, the best city in the world, you continue to bless them, continue to strengthen them, guide them as they lead. Now, Lord, we ask a special blessing in this place. Bless this place with your love, your grace, your joy, and your protection, and allow it to be a source of joy in this community now and in the future. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Pastor's got me through some tough times lately. Now for opening remarks and official welcome, someone who loves all of our parks, City of Pasadena, Mayor Victor M. Gordo.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let me try that one more time. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Now it sounds like a celebration. Let me first congratulate all of the neighbors who've had a hand in ensuring that this park became a reality. I've often said to people that Pasadena is the center of the universe, and I'll spare you the reasons why, but I think as Pasadenans you all know why. But it's not institutions, it's people that make Pasadena such a special place. It's not Caltech, JPL, those are important institutions, but it's the people who make Caltech and JPL and take the time to ensure that we have a park in every part of our city. That's why Pasadena is so special. And today we not only cut the ribbon on on Pasadena's latest park, but we also importantly celebrate Pasadenans, the Van Halens. Any Van Halen fans here? Van Halen fans that I remember do better than that. Any Van Halen fans here? So, the Van Halens, for some of us actually had the opportunity to meet them in person. I was talking to some of you who had the opportunity. I never had that opportunity to hear them playing in a backyard right here in Pasadena. I had the opportunity to serve them margaritas at Ranchero's Mexican restaurant. I won't tell you how old I was, but I did have that opportunity. They would come in, and I didn't know their history. And I certainly didn't know at the time the contribution that the Van Halen family would make, not just to Pasadena, not just to California, not just to the United States, but to the world. And I didn't know that they were immigrants to Pasadena. And what a wonderful story when you read the Van Halen story. What a wonderful American story that they have. That they lived, and what a wonderful contribution that they made to music and to the world of music. So I'd like to congratulate all of you who've had a hand, not only in making this park a reality, but ensuring that great Pasadenans who contributed greatly to making Pasadena the center of the universe are also celebrated. So I'd like to also thank Vice Mayor Andy Wilson for having had a hand together with our colleague John Kennedy. And I'd like us all to stand and just have a moment of silence. You know, John, as we all know, passed away, and we should recognize his contributions to ensuring that this park became a reality. And so, in recognition of our friend John Kennedy, I'd ask for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. I'd also like to welcome two of my colleagues, Felicia Williams and Jessica Rivas, council members who recently joined the city council but are making great contributions. He's been recognized already, but our former mayor, Terry Tornick, and former mayor Bill Bogard and Claire Bogard are here as well. I think I saw them. Oh, there they are. So I'd like to welcome both. Thank you to Margie Lindsay for pushing. Come on up here, Margie. Yeah. You know, I actually served her margaritas too as a kid. And Uncle Bacchus. Yeah, all the family.
Thank you.
Of course, you know how old I was. But, you know, Margie's done a terrific job, and again, consistent with the fact that it takes people in Pasadena to make great things happen. You've done a terrific job as a neighbor here in the district, leading other neighbors and involving other neighbors, not just to make this park a reality, but to making the Playhouse Village a very special part of our city. Thank you. And I'd like the Playhouse Village Board of Directors to please stand and be recognized. And thank you again, all of you, for your wonderful contributions to Pasadena. You know, the Playhouse Village has really evolved into a place, literally. When you think about placemaking and places that have evolved, not just as a place to visit if you live in Pasadena, but a place to visit if you live in the region. And I'd like to congratulate all of the residents who have contributed to making this a special part of our city and a special part of the region. And Pasadena for Van Halen. Let me try it one more time. Pasadena for Van Halen. Pasadena for Van Halen. Boy, you guys are really dogged. I mean, you guys have stayed on top of it and pushed and pressed, and I congratulate you for recognizing the contributions of Pasadenans, Eddie and Alex, and their cohorts, again, to the world of music and to Pasadena, and for being so laser focused on ensuring that the city does the right thing and recognizes their legacy. So congratulations to all of you, individually and collectively. Good job. And finally, I have our City Park and Recs Commission Chair, Mark Mastromateo, who shepherded this project and has done a great job contributing to ensuring that this project went through the process and got through and was constructed. Thank you, Mark, for your contributions as well over so many years, if not decades, actually. And we couldn't stand here and celebrate if it weren't for a great city staff. So let's give it up for the city staff, Tony, all of your staff, Brenda Harvey-Williams, who I know is here somewhere, Tony and Brenda. One of the great things about Pasadena, besides residents, is we have a dedicated workforce that makes all of us who have the honor and privilege of serving on the city council look good. But it's really the people who day in and day out, every minute of every hour of every day, ensure that Pasadena is a great place to live. And so I'd like to thank all of the city staff for their tremendous contributions. Thank you, Tony and Brenda. Please pass it on to all of your staff. So with that, congratulations, welcome. I look forward to all of you, seeing all of you here at the park. It's a park for two-legged and four-legged animals, so I hope that you'll all partake and have a good time here. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker, when asked about his favorite park, responded very enthusiastically, "I love Grant Park. It is so nicely embedded in the local neighborhood, especially in an area with multi-family homes where most don't have private yards. I often sit outside to have lunch at Ginger Cafe, which overlooks the park, just to hear the sound of laughter and see families energetically running around and playing. Grant Park is named after Ulysses S. Grant School, the campus that once occupied its grounds. Furthermore, Ulysses S. Grant was the 18th president of the United States. This park is located on Cordova Street between Michigan and Chester Avenues. Please welcome Vice Mayor and Council Member representing District 7, Andy Wilson.
Susanna, what a great way to pay homage to all our parks, to have us tell a little soliloquy about each item. And I hope, as you describe Grant Park, I can imagine that same vitality for this community right here in Playhouse Village Park. As Mayor Gordo mentioned, this part of our city has evolved in, I think, an epic way. I think about the combination of businesses and residents and institutions and services in a true village. And I remember when Brian and the Playhouse approached us about rebranding from the Playhouse District to the Playhouse Village, I kind of scratched my head and said, how brilliant that is, because the residents have embedded themselves in this part of our community. And I get goosebumps when I walk up here thinking how fabulous this is. But you can't have an epic village without a village green, in the center of a village, and a park. And I remember a number of the residents in this area, and the Playhouse Village does span multiple districts, and part of mine on the south side, coming to me and said, we're missing that park, we're missing that green. And as you know, you may be aware, when we build new residential units, and I'm seeing this lovely building behind us, which I hear has been renamed Parkview, by the way. Well, how fabulous to rename that. I want that top unit with the view of the park. Sign me up. But when you build a new unit, you actually pay what's called a residential impact fee, which is actually dollars that go to build parks. And when I took office, we saw this balance of impact fees accumulating for this part of town, and guess what? No park. And no wonder the residents were getting frustrated, impatient, and because we couldn't find a place. So my office organized, with the support of Councilmember Kennedy, a working group to figure out how to solve this problem. And that was 2006. After many conversations in the true Pasadena way, that group identified multiple locations, and I'm happy to say this was that location's first choice. Fortunately, in 2017, a piece of property that used to be called the Banner Bank property came up for sale, and my colleagues in the city council said, let's make this park a little bigger. So we were able to buy a little more land to create a larger park. This is still a neighborhood park. This is not a big park, but I feel like it's going to be the glue that brings this village to life. I can feel it already, and today is an epic representation of that. And I was thinking, I'm a Van Halen fan. One of my favorite Van Halen songs is Dreams. And I think about the dream of a park here that was literally established 15 years ago. And it's always so exciting to see our dreams become a reality. So this is an important day. I'm a dreamer. I'm an entrepreneur. So this dream, sometimes if you dream hard enough and you get other people to share that dream, those dreams become reality. And here we are today. So this park is long overdue, but I'm glad it's here. The completion of this park was the top priority for me. I'm actually out of office at the end of this year. And so I'm kind of all my favorite projects are coming to fruition, and this is definitely one of those. So it's a very happy day for me and hopefully for all of you. I do want to just echo the mayor's comments, and it's kind of appropriate that we're in Playhouse Village, and I'll tell you, dreams only happen when there's a village behind it, and there's so many people who made this dream happen. So I can't recognize all of them, but I know who you are, and we all had to be champions, be realistic, work together, and compromise. And I think that's how progress happens. And I'm thrilled to see this come out in this incredible way. I have a dog, so my dog's going to be happy. I actually rode the slide, so the slide does work, Public Works, and it can actually bear a fair amount of weight. So it's wonderful to see elements in this park that's for the people of Pasadena and the people of Playhouse Village. So congratulations. Welcome. I'm thrilled to death. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you so much.
Our next guest speaker's favorite park is located in the heart of the city, and it is a proud home of a very successful boxing program that was established in the 1940s and has since become a training ground for many Olympic hopefuls and boxing professionals. Coach Fausto de la Torre, a former boxing amateur and product of the Villa Park Community Center boxing program, has been the program's head trainer for more than 2 decades. Please give a cordial Pasadena welcome to boxing enthusiast and interim assistant city manager, David Reyes.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of newly appointed City Manager Miguel Marquez, welcome. It's a real pleasure to be here. I did ask Fire Chief Augustine if I could box one of his guys next year, and we're waiting to see how that plays out. But as acting Assistant City Manager, they don't always tell me what's happening, and so I've been waiting here since last Saturday to give the speech, and here I am. Honestly, what's been said about collaboration between the city and its residents cannot be stated enough. I was actually at a council meeting in 2017, and I think Mr. McCormick and maybe Mr. Siegel shared a spreadsheet with city council and staff explaining how exactly the numbers could work and we could buy Banner Bank. And I thought that was just actually truly incredible to see that happen and to see where we are today. Also, city staff, we did start groundbreaking just about a year ago. So 1 year, and here we are under budget, I think, and on time, Tony. Thumbs up. I really just thank you. Really good job by staff, honestly. Wanted to welcome everybody and say thank you again and look forward to using this park time and time again. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Our next speaker said she would cry if her favorite park had already been chosen. This is how much our city staff loves their park. This city park was built on the grounds of the Painter Hotel, which opened in 1888. It was the third largest hotel enterprise in the city of Pasadena, and it was built on the northeast corner of Fair Oaks Avenue and what is now Washington Boulevard. In an editorial, the Star wrote, "Destruction of property by fire is always particularly regrettable. But the burning of the Hotel Pasadena, better known as La Pintoresca, is especially to be deplored because of the aroma of early day romance that clung to this landmark. In the early youth of the city, many a delightful banquet and social function was held within its walls. Perhaps no structure in Pasadena had more romantic memories or associations attached to it. That there was no loss of life is cause for thankfulness. The hotel contained antique furniture brought to the hotel by Miss Hetty Green, said to have been the richest woman in the world and an investor in the hotel. One valuable chair that was saved had been made for Francis Scott Key of Star Spangled Banner fame. Please give a warm round of applause to Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Director, Miss Brenda Harvey-Williams.
Okay, as the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services, let me set the record straight. Every single park is my favorite park. Did you hear me? Every single park is my favorite park. They are all beautiful, they are all amazing, and they are all my favorite. But very quickly, I'll just tell you why I singled out La Pintoresca Park. Not for any of the reasons that Susanna just read, but if you go to that park, there is the most beautiful tree. I think it is the most beautiful tree in all of Pasadena. And when I look at that tree, it speaks to me. And it tells me I have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years, and I have seen things. I have seen changes. I have seen the world develop. I remember when this was a hotel, and I've seen now it's a park and the children come play. I've seen the history of Pasadena. I've seen the beauty of Pasadena. I've seen the ugly of Pasadena. But through all of that, I stand and I'm still here and I still provide beauty and shade. And so that's why I picked that particular park. But really, I do love all the parks. And it was hard for me to answer that question for Susanna. And I only said I'd cry because that is how much I love that one tree. Me and that tree, we are, it literally does talk to me. But David, it was actually 14 months ago when we gathered here for the groundbreaking of this park. It was July of 2021. And July is Parks Make Life Better month. And we were able to, as part of the celebration of that month, have the groundbreaking. And when I got to speak then, I thanked everybody for coming to my party. I called it my party because as the director of the Parks Department, these parks are mine. I feel like I own them. And so I called it my party and I thanked everyone. But really, it's all of our parties. So I want to thank everyone for coming out today, for this park belongs to all of us. For all of this multifamily housing that is being constructed and is constructed in this area, this is those children's backyard. That's their play equipment. And I would ask the vice mayor to stay off of it. For the people and their pets, their dogs specifically, this is where they can come walk and run their dogs. And please keep it separate. We have a dog run for small dogs and for large dogs. Please follow the rules, keep your dog in the right place. But we love your little furry friends, and please bring them to the dog run. Because the beauty of public parks is that they belong to all of us. Parks level the playing field. Everybody may not have a swimming pool. Well, everybody may not have a backyard, but guess what? This is it. Everybody may not have a swimming pool. And unfortunately, we couldn't fit one of those in this park, but we do have other parks that have swimming pools. Parks are truly for everyone, and they provide the same opportunities for everyone. And that is what is such amazing and beautiful about parks. When there's performances in this park on the Van Halen stage, and there will be many, everybody can come here and enjoy them for free. You don't have to. You may not have been able to afford that Van Halen ticket when they were performing, when they were still together and performing, but you can come here, anyone, and see a performance and enjoy it. So yes, parks do belong to all of us. Now, I would like to take just a brief moment, because a lot of us are doing it, but I wanted to thank some other people who haven't been thanked, who got us to this glorious moment of ribbon cutting. Of course, the mayor and the city council for the foresight to fund. We haven't mentioned former city manager Steve Mermel, who was a financing whiz and helped us get to this place as well. And the next speaker will be my colleague, Tony Olmos, who's our Public Works Director. But as the Parks Department, we work very closely with them, but I'd like to thank Tony and Chris and Hayden and Danny, who left us. But so many Public Works employees were, well, you know, they were the contractors. They did the design and the construction. So without Public Works, we wouldn't be here. And they're often, you know, I like to joke, Public Works, they're Well, they're kind of nerdy sometimes, most of the time. But we need those detail-oriented people to build us things like this, or they would never happen. So thank you, Tony, and thank you, Chris. You all are amazing. But I also want to take a moment to thank the park maintenance staff. And our parks administrator is standing back there, not even looking at me talking right now. Hey, Mel. There he is. Mel and his team are the people who will maintain the park to help it keep the grass mowed and green, because this is functional turf and we're allowed to water functional turf even though we're at a level 3 drought. I just wanted to add that in there. But they will make sure that the play equipment is running well and all those things you don't see, that the trash is picked up, the bathrooms are cleaned. That's the staff who does it, and they don't get that thank you very often. Now, we get complaints when they miss a trash can, and we run out and we fix it, and we appreciate you letting us know where we make those mistakes. But I just want to throw in a big thank you to the maintenance crew, because they don't always get recognized. And the mayor and vice mayor have talked about the many neighbors and people who participated in the meetings to vision for this park, because really, it's tiny. You know that, right? This is like, including the parking lot, it's just like 1.07 of an acre. That's tiny, but look at all the amazing things that we've been able to pack into this park. And I'm not going to name them all because my detail-oriented colleague Tony is going to go through those for you. But please, this is the ribbon cutting. We are going to have time for everybody to be able to explore all of the park, and I do encourage you to do that, especially since it's not big. It's just, from here to there. But you will see it is packed full of wonderful and amazing things. And I'm going to stop now because I get to come back in a moment when we do the actual ribbon cuttings. But thank you all for coming, and thank you to everybody who contributed in getting us to this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Our next speaker has been with the city of Pasadena for 1 year, and one of his favorite events is the Employee Appreciation Picnic at his now favorite park. Named in honor of Mrs. E.W. Brooks, who made a generous donation to the park for the construction of a parking pool in the Arroyo Seco area in 1912. According to a 1948 newspaper article, some of the groups using the park are General Motors, who engage all of its facilities a year ahead for one Sunday in the summer for its annual picnic numbering 5,000. Coincidentally, General Motors announced last year the establishment of their new technology campus right here in the city of Pasadena. Perhaps we will see them again at Brookside Park. Please welcome Director of Public Works, Mr. Tony Olmos.
Good morning, everybody. I can't tell you how exciting this is for me. Like Susanna said, I've only been here for about a year. And one thing that attracted me to Pasadena was just how many projects there are, and in particular, park projects. And I mean, just in the last few months alone, there's been 3 groundbreakings. This is the second ribbon cutting. And it's just so exciting with how much priority the city council places on projects like this. And there's so much that goes into it, and I'll highlight a few things. But the role of my department is just really to take all this input from all the different stakeholders to make these projects come to life. Of course, there's the community meetings, then there's the city council, Rec and Park Commission, and other city leaders. The city departments, we work with all of them. In particular with Parks Department, as Brenda was mentioning, we're like this, right, Brenda? We're like this all the way through. And there's just so many different things that can happen. I mean, we try to fit in this much stuff into 1 acre. It's like building a tiny house. I'm not sure if you've seen those programs where they fit every little thing in every little part, every little square inch is accounted for. That's exactly what you get in this park. And one thing that we had different here, we had a stakeholder advisory team that was made up of residents, Playhouse Village Association members, Downtown Pasadena Neighborhood Association, and the district liaisons. Susanna and Pam were part of that. So really, the whole thing is trying to get the vision together, and then you have to have a great designer. We had a consultant team from a consultant in MIG. They brought their own flair to this whole thing. They incorporated all the ideas that were identified from the community, from the different stakeholders, and they just made this thing fabulous. Evan Mather, lead designer, I think he's here somewhere, so I want to make sure we recognize him. And everybody else that I talked about. I mean, it's just a collective effort on how you come up with a vision for something like this. And of course, you need a good contractor. After we got all the contract documents together that are put together by the designer, like the details, as Brenda called them, you have to make sure that they're precise and you have a good contract that focuses on quality. You don't get this kind of quality with just any kind of contractor. So just working real closely with them, making sure that they stay on budget and making sure that we're able to get everything done right is really priority number one. And as you can tell, they did a fabulous job. So should we give them a round of applause? And the contractor is Act One, and we're lucky that that's the same contractor that's also building the Washington Community House right now, Washington Park Community House. So we expect that same level of quality over there. Now, I know that a lot of people got here before this ceremony. Everybody's been kind of walking around, kind of seeing what's there, and just to kind of highlight some of the main elements of this park, just to bring the excitement to it. It is 1 acre. 2/3 of the acre is dedicated to the park, and as you can see behind me, that's basically the seating area for this platform that was here, the Van Halen stage. And all these wires that you see coming up from the side, and you see the little bit of vines starting to go from the bottom, eventually when they grow, they're going to start overhanging onto this platform and give you that kind of ambiance that really feels like a community, place to be. And of course, we have our accessible children's play area with the rubber surfacing and the shade structures. For many years to come, the off-leash dog runs for small and large dogs. They're right basically behind this building on that side. We have a lot of trees, and this is just the beginning for the trees. They're going to grow bigger, provide a lot more shade. There's 47 mature trees, and there's 30 hedge-type trees over by the playground that are great. Then we also incorporated all the sidewalks that are basically public sidewalks, but they almost look like park sidewalks. They actually serve a dual function. It's not just a street sidewalk, but it's also a park sidewalk. And of course, that's also making room, in a small space and taking advantage of that. And of course, you have this building here with the restroom and a storage room. And on the parking lot, the other third of the acre has 48 parking spaces. It has these really nice pavers that actually serve two purposes. Besides a very aesthetic look to it, it actually permeates, it lets the water actually permeate into the ground so that you reduce the amount of runoff that goes out into the street, and it actually cleans the water as it goes down. So that's pretty incredible. And then you have charging stations to top it all off. All this was about $4 million. And we have some temporary plaques up here for the stage, for the Van Halen stage. Those are being finalized, and some permanent ones will be installed. But in closing, I just want to thank, like Brenda was already saying, just to piggyback on that, the mayor and the city council, for all their support. Without them, none of this stuff could happen. To Parks Department, as we mentioned, it's a very, very close partnership between us and other departments when projects like this. Parks is key. And then my staff, I think they already mentioned Chris Marcarian, she's our Deputy Director of Public Works. Hayden Melbourne, our Principal Civil Engineer. Danny Welch, he's right over here. He was a key project manager for the project. And our Inspector, Ed Gonzalez. And I also want to thank the neighbors that had for the last 14 months, deal with all this construction activity here, in particular Crown City Adult Daycare and Oak Knoll Village Association. So I'm just really happy to be here, and I'm proud to be part of such a great team. And I just congratulate the community and hope you enjoy this park for many, many years. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Our final speaker's favorite park is located on Union Street between El Molino and Oak Knoll Avenues. And it includes a variety of flexible program elements and park features. The park's design is organized around a large grass area, surrounded by shade trees perfect for picnicking, lounging, and active play. A central shade trellis provides a community gathering space and can serve as a platform for performances such as concerts and movies in the park. The 48-space parking plaza doubles as an event space for fairs and farmers markets. The new park also includes a universally accessible playground, a dog run, and a small restroom. The park's design is a result of years of collaboration between the park's design team, city staff, neighborhood stakeholder groups, and community members. The park was named after the neighborhood in which it resides, the Playhouse Village Park. And here to tell you all about how excited she is to properly welcome this new park to the neighborhood is immediate past chair of the Playhouse Village Association and vice chair of the Playhouse Village Foundation, Miss Marjorie Lindbeck.
I can't believe this day is here. Can you hear me or is this working? Okay. Good morning. It's an amazing, amazing day for this community. I'm Margie Lindbeck, as you heard, and I live right there. I've been watching this park being built, along with my neighbors, I might add. I moved here with my husband in 2007, and as you heard previously, there was a committee that met in 2006. This park has been a dream for a very long time for a very lot of people. You've heard some of the history today, so I'm not going to repeat it, but it truly is a collaboration of many. I got involved with the Playhouse Village Association because of this park. I got to see firsthand what happens when people come together with a common vision to create this very park. John Kennedy recognized this effort, and that's why he urged the park to be named Playhouse Village Park in recognition of the community that really built this park here. And John would be the first one to want us to celebrate and acknowledge those who made it possible. So today we want to thank Mayor Gordo, whose steadfast support of this park has been amazing, to Vice Mayor Andy Wilson, who convened that committee a long time ago and really helped us advocate for this park, to Councilperson Jess Rivas, who's also supported our vision and our name, and we really appreciate that. Thanks to the amazing Chris Markarian, who created the Stakeholders Committee meeting and brought together representatives that you've already heard about, and thanks to those who served on that committee, and to the many residents who came out for meeting after meeting after meeting and helped design this park. To Danny Welch. Danny, I think, is here today, and there's little touches in this park that kids are going to enjoy for decades to come. He's done an amazing job, and we thank you so much. Thanks to all who advocated tirelessly for this park since about 2006, whose names are way too numerous to mention, but Ken McCormick comes to mind, as does Amy Korn, Wayne Hunt, Deborah Dentler, Richard Hamilton, Joel Sheldon, our PVA president, Brian Wallace, who unfortunately is missing today because he's home with COVID. He sends his very, very best. I'm actually here today in place of Colleen Carey, our chairman, current chairman. She's in Barcelona. She would have been here with you last week. Most importantly, I want to thank our property owners who voted in favor of continuing our property-based improvement district and whose assessments will help fund the expanded services at the park by our ambassadors, who you will see around this park every single day. In a first, our Playhouse Village Association is entering into an agreement with the City of Pasadena to share programming and certain maintenance activities in this park. This public-private partnership will bring activation and oversight to the park, and we hope it becomes a model for other parks. Thank you to Brenda Harvey-Williams and her team for embracing this idea and this co-partnership. We look forward to working with you to co-manage the park and program it. As you heard, this past year, the Playhouse Village Association formed a nonprofit, the Playhouse Village Foundation, under the leadership of Phil Hockey. Phil's here today someplace. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., the new Foundation will kick off its inaugural concert series under the generous sponsorship of the Ice House. So please come, bring your picnics, bring your friends. There's going to be a little surprise, I understand it, for the early arrivals. And the Pack-A-Picnic, come. The long wait is over. Today we celebrate, and tomorrow we play. Come back and enjoy your new Playhouse Village Park. Bring your kids, your dogs. Enjoy lawn games, concerts, yoga, fitness, and much more. Later, there's going to be a Halloween costume for dogs, a tree lighting in December, and much more. This is a place for all of us to gather, and this is what happens when city, residents, and businesses all come together with a common village. We will play here. We will build community here. Congratulations to all of us. Thank you.
Now, before our final recognitions and remarks this morning, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to say some words about the late Honorable Councilmember Kennedy. For those of you who knew him and knew him well, you know that he loved to walk. And that he loved to walk to his meetings on Colorado Boulevard to have lunch, and to around the Rose Bowl, and to his events, and to City Hall. He walked so much, in fact, that I started feeling bad and started walking to work. And so it is my wish today that you take Councilmember Kennedy's example, and that when you're planning your day here at the park, that you will opt to leave your vehicles at home, and that you will walk, jog, or even bike it here to spend a beautiful day here at the park. And with that, I would like to invite a couple of people to give some nice recognitions to all of the people who have put in a lot of effort to provide this park for you today. Ms. Ann Hickenbottom from Assemblymember Chris Holden's office, and Mr. Dominic Corey from representative from Senator Anthony Portantino's office. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Dominic Corey, and I'm here on behalf of California State Senator Anthony Portantino. And I would say my favorite park is Victory Park, because I play so many Pop Warner sports at that park. It's probably one of the biggest and prettiest, and the trees. And I have to say to Miss Margie and Brenda, this amphitheater, this pergola, whatever this is called, is beautiful. And I've always wanted to be a rock star. So at any time that you guys have an amateur night and we're singing Van Halen songs, I volunteer. I'll be one of your first volunteers. But on behalf of California State Senate, Ms. Margie, if you want to come up. Yep. I joined the city of Pasadena and its residents in celebrating the grand opening of this Pasadena Playhouse Village Park. This neighborhood park will provide a safe environment for our children to play, the dogs to run, and enjoy a healthy lifestyle for everybody in this neighborhood. We look forward to more community collaborations, encouraging the growth of green space in our city. So just thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting us to come here today. Pleased to be here on behalf of Assemblymember Chris Holden, who many of you know served a very long time on the Pasadena City Council, almost 24 years. On his behalf, I'd like to extend congratulations to the city for its efforts in listening to the community and getting the job done and getting this beautiful park underway. So I'll present it to you, Mayor Gordon, on behalf of the... Thank you very much. Just a simple congratulations on the grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony from Assemblymember Chris Holden on behalf of the state legislature. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dominic and Ann, for always being so supportive. And for our final remarks and to invite our dignitaries to do the official ribbon cutting, I'm going to invite back Miss Brenda Harvey-Williams.
So we're going to be cutting two separate ribbons today. The first will be for the stage, because as you know, the stage has been named the Van Halen stage, and we're very proud and very thankful that they started their journey here in Pasadena. And so we're going to start with that item, and then we'll move to cutting the ribbon for the entire park. So I want to thank my helpers who actually all participate in our after-school program at Victory Park. You've heard that mentioned before. So come on over, friends. But I do want to also invite up Rhonda, who represents Pasadenans for Van Halen. If you would come up and help us cut the ribbon for the stage. Also want to invite up our mayor and vice mayor and council members to represent all of our city as we really christen this stage. And you'll notice you can't see them because you're sitting on the wrong side, but there is a plaque, actually 2 plaques, naming this the Van Halen stage. And I'll just admit, we don't have the actual plaques yet, but we have mock-ups of what they're going to look like and affixed in the location where they will be. And the group Pasadenans for Van Halen, they were so excited about this, they said, let us pay for them. So they did. So thank you very much, Rhonda.